Good morning. I'm not going to be posting every day. I'm just doing this morning because I'm in a mood, and I'm going to start off with a rant about the U.S. Postal Service in this country. Specifically, here we are, we're 2 weeks away from Christmas, a little bit less. And I fully understand that they have probably the largest volume of mail going through the system at this time of the year. But that does not excuse the fact that they are still charging priority rates for 2 to 3 day delivery, and it's taking up to 10 to 12 days to get something 3 or 4 states over. So if you pay $15 for priority and it's supposed to get there in 3 days, and 10 days later it's still sitting in some hub 2 states over, that's not acceptable. You would think after all the years that the post office has been in service, they would understand the fact that they're getting a lot of mail volume through here, through their system, and they would have all hands on deck for this. But apparently, they are more than willing to let stuff just sit. And if you track a package, it's ridiculous what happens because it just keeps churning through the same hub. And it's like accepted, received, sent out, and it's back again the next day. What are they doing? Are they walking it out to the parking lot and going, yeah, we sent it out of the hub, but it comes back in the next day, received? Why don't you cut people some slack on the price you charge for priority mail if you're not going to deliver it in 2 to 3 days like you're advertising? How do you get your money back for that? Now, I am not slamming the people that work for the post office. I know people that work for the post office because I mail a lot of stuff. And most of them are really talented people that have been working for the post office for a long time. And I don't think they're any happier about this than the customers are, because they probably get a huge amount of complaints at this time of the year. It's the administration of the U.S. Postal Service. It's those tools that get paid all the money at the top of the food chain that don't understand what's going on. They just think everything's great. And what really chaps my butt is when Trump was in office, he understood what was going on with the Postal Service and the fact that it's a corrupt, government-run organization. And he was going to try to do something about it. And all these freaking, what do you want, Democrats, whatever, I don't care. They were like sneering at him and knocking him and telling him, oh my God, I'm just tired of it. And what I'm tired of is I don't want to pay premium prices to ship something and not get the service that's promised. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I sell stuff on eBay, and I don't even sell stuff during the month of December, because if you ship something out the day it's purchased, it may not get there for 3 weeks. And then what happens? You get somebody getting on your case going, you never shipped this. Why didn't I get this? Well, you can't do anything about that, but the people that bought that from you on eBay don't understand that. You know, even if you put down on your listing, you may not get this till January, they still get upset. So it affects everybody. And once again, I'm saying I'm not knocking the people that work for the post office on the front lines. Something needs to be done about the post office. It's just another incidence of our current governmental administration not doing anything about a major problem that we have. And that's my rant about the post office. Now, I'm going to go ahead and finish up what I started this on. Like I said, I'm in a mood, and I'm sorry if this upsets anybody, but we've been trying to get something delivered in time for Christmas, and it's been sitting in some hub in North Carolina for 6 days. And we sent it priority, and we spent $15 on it. And it wasn't a very big box either. So we don't know when it's going to get there. I mean, who do you complain to about that? If you walk into the post office and go to the counter, they're not going to be able to do anything about it, and you're not going to get your money back. So that's enough of that. All right. I just wanted to get back to this for 5 seconds. I've been letting this thing cook. I did a video, a thing on it on a couple of videos ago. I've literally been letting it cook for about 4 days. It's been turned on, running low volume with the tuner. And one of the things I've always said all along, and I know this from years of experience, if you let something that's been sitting for 10, 15 years that hasn't been powered on just kind of have electricity running through it without stressing it out, all the capacitors reform. There's a little bit of heat that gets built up inside these units. Everything kind of gets back to its base level. And what's interesting or fascinating to me is you actually can see an improvement on the performance of stuff like this over the course of several days. And this is another example of that. The tuner is working fine now. It's no longer cycling through the channels every once in a while. I've been running both of the cassettes bays on this, and they're sounding really good. I was actually listening to a really old Yes tape on here about an hour ago, and the volume's good. There's no wow and flutter. And it didn't eat the tape, which would really have upset me because it's like a 1988 Yes tape I've never even heard of called Union. I'm a big Yes fan, but and if it had eaten that tape, I probably would have been upset. But that just shows my confidence that this thing's actually running decently. I did clean the heads. I did clean the capstan rollers with alcohol. I'm going to eventually get around to getting the turntable back up and running, but just wanted to give you an update on this. But what I really wanted to show you is I'll have to splice this in. I got to move it to where I can show it to you. Hang on a second. All right, this is what I wanted to show this to you because if anybody knows anything about this unit, I would, please leave a comment on this thing. I've had it for about a year. I haven't really done anything with it. It's obviously a turntable, and I think it's specifically for 78 RPM. That's a volume knob. If you notice, there's two knobs on this thing. I don't know. I haven't plugged it in yet. It's a tube. It's a tube unit. It's really nicely made. It's got two speaker outputs. I think it uses two channels. That might be what it is. If you could use it for, I don't know. I haven't really taken it apart, but it uses one of those cactus needles, which, let's see if I can show that to you. This camera sucks. It doesn't have the needle in it. It's got a salt crystal cartridge. It looks like somebody built it, but I think it was I'm not sure what the deal is with that. I mean, it's nice woodwork. It's solid wood. That's pretty much. I'm going to have to put this on its back, but it's probably going to... Let me see if I can do this without... I can't do this with one hand. That turntable, that arm's going to flip over, but... Shoot, hang on a second. All right, I'm back. I got it flipped over. Of course, the arm went backwards, but... it didn't crash. It's a 3-tube unit. It's got a, what is that, an AC motor? Let's see if I can get this. Michael Manufacturing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's the model 52A816. I've actually tried to look that company up when I first got this, and there's absolutely nothing about them. So I'm thinking it was a small company, but it's just very interesting to me. It's in really good shape. It's almost like it was in a console or something. I don't know. But if anybody knows anything about this, I would certainly appreciate it. It's just got it's got a terminal strip going to the outputs with line cord on it. So, and then look at the input for the phono. It looks like it's home built to me. I don't know. I'm gonna have to take the chassis out of this thing, and first thing I need to do is find a needle. I'm pretty sure that cartridge is probably long dead, because those salt crystal cartridges don't last. But you never know. I've seen people in the past stick a needle on there and they actually work after all these years. This thing looks like it was stored really well. And I mean, there's no signs of corrosion whatsoever on anything on here. So, but I'll tell you, that's a heck of a cabinet, isn't it? It's even got a brass. Get that? That's a brass retainer for the line cord. That's pretty cool. All right, well, that's what I wanted to show you for today. There's the input. I'm gonna I've got a couple of small old coax speakers with the 1/4-inch jacks on them for that. So what I might do is bring it up on a variac, make sure the tubes aren't frying. It's got kind of a crappy little output transformer there. I don't know. I'll have to look. I guess one of those is a rectifier tube. And see, but I'm gonna try to find a needle. I could jam a roofing nail on her like Shango does, but I don't think I want to do that. Sorry about the rant about the post office. I'm just really angry because I never liked the post office. I mean, they get your letters and stuff to you, but when they started this whole priority thing they started doing, I thought that was okay because, you know, you were getting something delivered in 2 to 3 days. And most time during the year they actually do. But for something to not get delivered after 10 days when it's sent priority is just way out of line, especially since they charged me for priority. And boy, I'll tell you, if you had sent it to what they call parcel post now, it wouldn't get there until January. I can guarantee you that. You know, and there's people depending on stuff getting other people for Christmas. I mean, they do this every year. They've been doing it for over a century. It's just, I mean, get with it. You know, at least, I don't know, 10 days and it's not delivered. It's still sitting in some hub 300-400 miles away from its destination. And I'm not mailing this from Miami to Portland. It's going about 4 states over. So just, all right, I'm not going to do this anymore. I hope you guys are having a good day. Like I said, comments. Anybody knows any idea who this manufacturer is, or where I can get a cactus needle? Be appreciated if you could leave that for me. Thank you for those that have subscribed. I've been still getting some really nice comments. I'm trying to respond to people if I feel like I have an answer for them. And the last thing I want to say on this video, my channel's called Magnus Audio Fighter. My name is not Magnus. Those of you old enough to remember back in the early 60s, there was a comic book available called Magnus Robot Fighter that I was very much enamored of as a small child. And it was about a guy in an apocalyptic future wasteland that ran around killing evil robots, and there was some kind of authoritarian government. That sounds familiar. But it had these really great graphics, especially on the covers, you know. Back in the early 60s, there were comic books that had covers that were actually done by artists, and you could get lost in the covers. So when I decided to name my channel, I'm like, well, you know, work on audio, usually fight with it. So I thought I'd give homage to that. So that's where that's at. I'm never going to say that again. But if anybody's ever curious about why I call myself that, it was either that or don't freeze the cream cheese, because my wife and I make jokes about freezing cream cheese. I'm not going to get into that, but don't freeze cream cheese. It doesn't work. Okay, well, hope you all having a good day, and I will see you on the next iteration of my channel. Bye.